Hey you guys, so today I filmed this get ready with me using Isadora Cosmetics, which is a drugstore brand. You can find it at Walgreens. I use basically all of their products that I have. And so if you're interested, if you've seen this brand and you are just curious as to how it performs, then keep on watching. So this is the quad that I received. It is 44 Muddy Nudes and it looks like they're all matte. It includes this little sponge thing, but I don't like to use those. So I'm gonna use this lightest like beige color and put it all over my eyes with this kind of large shader brush. Whoa. Well, I would say it's a little bit more pigmented than I was expecting. And I'm gonna go ahead and put that all over my eye area to create a base. I would say the texture is definitely a little bit chalky. So next up, I'm gonna go in with this second lightest shade into my crease, and I'm gonna use this kind of large blending brush just to start creating depth to the eye. So I'm gonna go in with the second darkest shade next, which is that. There's not much difference, I don't think, between this one and this one. They're pretty similar, and I do wish that it had a shimmer, but whatever. So I'm gonna start just on the outer corner and kind of pack and blend up and over. Definitely have some fallout. So again, still pretty nude. So I'm gonna go in with the darkest shade now, and I'm gonna use like a pencil brush. So, I don't think that the two shades are all that different. I'm not super impressed with the eyeshadow. I'm not going to lie. It just seems like any other drugstore quad. So I'm gonna go on with this brush again. I'm not gonna add anything. I'm just gonna blend. Just because sometimes I feel like with chalky eyeshadows, they just kind of stay exactly where they're put. We're gonna move along. Like, this is just super basic. I'm not impressed at all. Maybe I'll do a few swatches of the quad to see what it's like, you know, so you can see kind of all four side by side. That's cool. So you can see that it's just kind of very nude, not very rich, and just very chalky. So, okay, so I just tight lined real quick on my upper waterline, and I'm going to use their Glossy Eyeliner 40 Chrome Black in Waterproof. So there's the tip. Wish me luck. Okay. Oh my God, oh my God. So this is a felt tip. It's kind of stiff. I don't even know if it's felt, it could be rubber. Oh my God, this is horrible. It is very black, but I feel like I don't have a lot of control because this is not very flexible. Like, it's just really stiff, and I need to see what I'm doing. Yeah, I don't like this. This is extremely stiff, and it's really hard to get like the right flick going with it. Okay, so I just tried to even it up a little bit out of the frame, and I'm about to turn into Amy Winehouse. So I'm going to stop here and just make the best of it. I would say this is definitely a no-go if you are a beginner at liquid liner. It is very, very stiff and inflexible, and it's almost like a marker. Like, before you know it, you end up with like this super thick line. And it's extremely hard to get a nice, fine, like gradient wing because it's so stiff. So, okay, so next up we have their Stretch Lash Mascara. Now, this is definitely the most unique design I've seen because it is an expandable brush. So it is the plastic bristles. And then at the tip here where there's arrows, if you turn that, know if you can even see. Oh. Oh. When I was watching other videos, I thought it would like expand this way, but like the wand itself is either like super long or it completely scrunches it up like a little caterpillar. So I guess I'll try it first, like on its longest setting and see what happens. The mascara formula itself is super lightweight. It doesn't seem to be clumping at all. Okay, not bad. It seems like a basic mascara. And my lashes are super straight. Normally I would put on a waterproof, but I wanted to see how this held up on its own. I don't think this is a waterproof formula. And let's make it scrunched up and see what happens. Okay, so it's all the way scrunched. Actually the mascara I'm impressed with. The big test will be to see if it smudges underneath my eyes. But so far, I think this is my favorite product by them. Okay, so now I'm gonna move on to the foundation, which is this Active All Day Wear Makeup. It's supposed to be 24 hours, y'all. Do not wear your makeup for 24 hours. It is not good for your skin, but it certainly sounds promising that it should hold up to, you know, a full work day, stuff like that. It says that it's sweat and humidity proof, and I received the shade Sand. I think this is supposed to be a fuller coverage foundation. Now I do have, well, I have hyperpigmentation all the time, but from being in the sun, even though I do wear SPF every day, okay, I do freckle. So we'll see if it covers up all of that hyperpigmentation. And I'm just going to apply it with this makeup sponge. So some people received a beauty sponge. I did not. This is just my beauty blender. It's filthy. I definitely like the pump on this. This might be better applied with a brush. But since they sent the sponge to people, I'm assuming that's like how they recommend applying it. Okay, so this is how it covers. I would call it a medium to full. It does cover pretty well. The color match isn't terrible. So anyway, they did not send me concealer or powder. And since this is a liquid, I am going to set it because they did send blush and stuff. So I'm gonna do that next, so. Be right back. So moving along, I am going to just kind of shade the under eye using, I think, the third darkest shade or the whatever. I'm just running that along the lower lash line. So next up is the face sculptor. Now the product itself, because I have tried this, isn't terrible. But the packaging, like, it was loose when it came to me, but this piece, like, is already broken off. Like, when I first got it, I said, oh, this would be perfect for travel because it's got 3 products all in one little flat thing. But, like, I guess we'll have to glue this back together. This is the shade Warm Peach. And on the back, it does have this kind of chart for you as to where to put the bronzer, blush, and highlight. So I'm going to start with the bronzer, and I'm using just kind of this angled brush. It does have a very slight shimmer. I'm going to start here. I like to hit my temples and also bring it across my forehead. So next up, we're gonna do this blush. Okay, and then I'm gonna go in with the highlight. This is a little bit dry. So I'm gonna hit it here, here, and kind of above the brow. Okay, so that's that. And let's use the lip product next. It is a moisturizing lip Filler Twist Up Gloss Stick in the color Toffee Pop. It is not a shade I would normally reach for because it's super like a gray undertone. And I should have exfoliated. This makes me look a little bit dead. Yeah, the product itself is not bad. It leaves a nice sheen on the lips. It does feel nice. I do not like this shade. I never reach for anything this undertone. Like, I just look like a swamp creature or something. But yeah, I mean, it's super basic packaging, decent product. I don't like the shade. I'm sure their other shades are fine. So that's the finished look. I would say this is just a little bit too warm tone for the tone of foundation that I received. The foundation is not an exact match, which I'm a super hard shade to match just because I'm a combination. Like, I have yellow and pink undertones and it's hard to find the right balance. The lip, I'm not a fan of the shade, especially with like the super warm bronzer. Like, I don't like that. Okay, so my final thoughts. I think they can totally improve on their packaging, especially if they want to charge the price points that they're charging, because this is $25 and I would expect this packaging from like a Wet n Wild LA Girl, like $5 product, like something that's $25, which to me would be a price you would find at like Ulta, should hold up a little better than this. The foundation is $22. I mean, it's a decent foundation from what I can see so far. I would say if you do have aging skin or dry skin, you might want to stay away from this just because it does, you can see my texture for sure. I mean, I did set it with powder, but I always do my liquids. So for $22, I would like to see this more like maybe 15 would be more appropriate for the way it performs and the packaging. I didn't even check the color range, but I believe it's a Swedish brand, so I highly doubt that they have a huge color range. So the eyeshadow quad was $16, I believe. This to me is just like any other drugstore quad you're gonna find by like CoverGirl or whatever. I think it's probably could be half the price, would be a little bit more appropriate for, again, the way it performs. The color payoff isn't great. It's a little chalky. They're all mattes, whatever. Pretty basic thing, so I would not pay $16 for this. The lip twist up gloss stick was $14. Again, this is something you would see at a drugstore, maybe closer to like the $8 or $10 range. It's not sticky, it feels fine, but the color just does nothing for me. They have other shades that I think would be more suitable, but it's just not something that I would reach for when I was at Walgreens. Okay, the liquid liner is $14. Now, the overall finish isn't bad. It is glossy, which creates kind of this weird, as you can see, like it almost looks white because it's glossy. It dried down nicely. When I applied it, it seemed to feather a little bit, but I was able to correct it, which was good. So if you're good at liquid liner, you might like this. Like I said, it's got a very stiff tip on it. Like, that's what she said. So it's a little bit difficult to work with as far as creating a nice, like, controlled gradient wing, but like overall, it's an okay product. Now, the product that did surprise me is the mascara. It performs pretty well, pretty on par with drugstore brands. What I do like is that it is just regular mascara, but it did seem to hold the curl in my lashes pretty well, which is really hard for me to find because I have very fine, straight, stubborn lashes. I do think it's really cool that they've got this kind of customizable technology where you can expand or shrink up the wand to have better control of how you apply it. But for $18, I just think it's not really drugstore appropriate pricing for mascara. That's something, again, you'd see more at Ulta. I mean, drugstore prices have gone up, but like $12 would probably be more appropriate for something like this. So that's just my opinion. Let me know if you've tried any of these products. And yeah, so I'll talk to you later. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.